Hello, and welcome back for another episode of the Accessible Technology Podcast. I'm your host, Phoebe Lau, and this podcast is all about the ways that we can keep on making everyday technology more accessible for disabled people, as well as covering what everyday technologies are less and more accessible for disabled people, and which also gives technology companies more details on how they can keep on making their technology more accessible. And for that reason, I have a really passionate interest in the topic because I can only use technology by using a chopstick or a stylus in my mouth. So if you are someone who is also interested in all of that, please make sure to give the podcast a follow if you are able to search for it on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music and Audible, Google Podcasts, except that is only until April, and Spotify. So please check it out if you would like to keep on following what's coming up in the next episode. However, if you'd like to support the podcast and the content I produce in other ways, you can also support it by going over to the Phoebes Journalism Buy Me a Coffee page, which is linked below, which is where you will also be able to find exclusive episodes that aren't part of the podcast, as well as checking out a shop that I plan to open at some stage where you'll be able to buy other products, so please consider checking it out. In this episode, you're going to be hearing my thoughts on the 24-inch M1 iMac by Apple, which was first released on the 21st of May 2021. As always, the main bit of audio for the review comes from a video that was first uploaded to YouTube, and as always, there's a link below. But here's some additional notes about the 24-inch M1 iMac before I get fully into this review, so that you can have extra details about it in case you ever need to bring them up. So it was the first of Apple's iMacs to get the Apple M1 chip. But while it was the first of Apple's iMacs to get the M1 chip, it was the fourth Apple computer overall to get it. But now that I've given you all of those details, let's get straight into the review. So the new 24-inch iMacs are part of Apple's new Mac lineups, coming in a range of 7 different colours. I got one of these as my 2015 MacBook Pro has been running short of storage with all the things I'm using it for, so I thought it would just be a good idea to upgrade. But what all do these new iMacs come with? And are they accessible for everyone? The box that the iMac comes in has a picture of your colour of iMac on the front, with the word iMac round the side, and more pictures of the device itself at every single side. and covered with the usual special plastic that Apple fans love very, very much. As soon as you open the box, the first thing you'll see will be a protection shield with the word hello on it and covering the actual iMac beneath it. Under the iMac, you have your keyboard, your magic mouse, the charger for your iMac, and the one for the keyboard, and all of your quick start information. As well as this, you will also get your Apple stickers. And this would also be where your magic trackpad would be if you ordered one. But unfortunately, the Apple store in Belfast didn't have any in stock at the time that I got mine. So I ended up ordering a silver one on Amazon. And although I'm happy with the trackpad I have got, I would like to have the option of upgrading to a blue one at some point. So if Apple launched any of customizable colour trackpads in a singular option, that would be great. Everything was very nice to unwrap and set up as well. The new 24-inch iMacs are 11.5mm in thinness. With a screen you can move to adjust the angle and less than 40 kilos. Powered by the new M1 chip. The chip is what gives the iMac its extraordinary design and helps integrate the processor, graphics and more. The screen sits on a poised stand, which I feel makes it look a wee bit iPad-ish compared to the Magic keyboard case that you get. And at the back you have all the different fast ports for plugging in any devices you need, as well as the power button. I do plan to try to investigate a couple of smart ways of turning these on in future, so tell me if you would like me to do this in the comments below. But as someone who is still using the 2015 MacBook Pro but moved on to the 24-inch iMac for film and audio reasons, you can really see the difference in the 4.5K Retina display. The P3 wide colour gamut brings what you're watching to life, and images shine with a brilliant 500 nits of brightness. The True Tone technology adjusts the colour temperature to the ambient light of your environment for a natural viewing experience. Personally, I can't wait until I start making a couple of short films in the new year so I can see how they all play back. This is a quick screen recording of how the games I have installed on my Apple iMac actually play, and on how, and just to emphasise how good the resolution actually is. So if gaming is your thing, it's definitely a good computer for that, as well as anything else that requires a high amount of detail in graphics. But even the cameras have got a massive update in this iMac with a 1080p FaceTime HD camera, double the resolution of higher quality video calls. We get a larger sensor that captures more light, and the advanced image signal processor, thanks to the M1 chip, greatly improves image quality. The new iMacs come with studio quality Macs, which makes sure that whether you're recording a podcast or something else, you'll always come across crisp and clear. The 3 microarray is designed to reduce feedback so conversations flow naturally, with the included beamforming helping to ignore background noise. The new sound system on the iMac brings room-filling audio to any space. The 2 pairs of force-cancelling woofers creates rich, deep bass without any unwanted vibration, and with high-performance tweeters, no, not these ones. The volume on the new iMac is absolutely brilliant. This iMac also supports spatial audio when playing music or video with Dolby Atmos, but the fact that a lot of this is still limited to Apple headphones does make it a wee bit annoying. Although you can connect non-Apple headphones to any Apple device, I would love if it was as easy to connect my skull candies as it is to connect AirPods, but that's hopefully something that both those companies can sort in the future. Lastly, this iMac is also able to run the newest iOS software, which at the time that this is out is iOS Monterey, and if you have any iPad later than the iPad 6th Gen, iPad Mini 5th Gen, or the iPad Air 3rd Gen, and any iPad Pro, you will be able to use Sidecar. Sidecar isn't unfortunately accessible enough, however, at the minute, because if you mirror your Mac screen to your iPad, you have to use an Apple Pencil, which isn't a very accessible stylus for any physically disabled person. But overall, although there are some small things that could be improved, the vast majority of stuff on this iMac I can access. It was easy to set up once my trackpad arrived, and I was able to set up all of my accessibility features easily enough. The only things I think have to improve is for the sidebars for scrolling down on the side to be set to constantly on, and with a customizable thickness for Face ID to be added instead of Touch ID, and for Sidecar to be able to be used with a cheaper, more accessible stylus other than the Apple Pencil. But other than that, it is very accessible. You can get the new 24-inch iMac in blue, green, pink and silver, with orange, yellow and purple also being a choice, and you can also get the Magic Keyboard with or without Touch ID. The new iMac costs between £1,249 to £1,649, but it is a very good computer overall. But now that I've gone through all of this, let me ask you, did you buy the 24-inch M1 iMac recently or at any point after it came out? And how have you found it if you did? Is there anything you like or dislike about it? And what would you change? Well, if you would like to pass on some of your thoughts, you can include them in a review wherever you're listening to this podcast on, as well as via the contact pages over on my Phoebes Loud Tech Reviews site, pltechreviews.co.uk, or on my other website, phoebeloud.com. If you are interested in watching the videos that I have uploaded on accessible technology before, you can find them by searching for PL Tech Reviews on YouTube, and it's also free to subscribe to. But if you would also like to see a couple of my accessible tourism reviews, as well as my film, TV, theatre reviews and political videos, you can find all of them by searching for Phoebes Loud Journalism on YouTube and subscribing to that. But that's not all, because if you are interested in all of those topics as well, but you would prefer a video-free version for whatever reason, you can also find the Phoebes Loud podcast on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music and Audible, Google Podcasts, and Spotify. But of course, there is also the Phoebes Journalism Buy Me a Coffee page again, and that's where you'll be able to find some exclusive episodes of this podcast that aren't actually part of it. Plus, you'll have the opportunity to give me a one-time donation. In the next episode, you'll be hearing my thoughts on Apple's 2021 M1 13-inch and 16-inch MacBook Pros, which were released as part of the October event that year. But as you'll later learn, I then changed my mind. I plan to update this podcast currently 3 times a week, and that will hopefully allow me to move on to other tech news as well that is slightly more recent, and to cover a couple of other things as well, so that it sort of turns into a tech news reaction type of podcast, and where you get to learn about the most recent tech and their accessibility features. If you would like to support me on my socials, you can do so by searching for @PhoebesLow on Twitter and giving me a follow. And my Instagram handle is the real PhoebesLow. However, you can also follow the Phoebes Loud Tech Review site as well if you have a WordPress account. Thanks for listening, and I'll talk to you on the next one. Bye!